Welcome back. I'm Tommy the Angry Craftsman. Today we're going to cover jigs, fixtures, and accessories for your lasers, specifically the Thunder lasers. That's the brands that we use. That's the one we're partial to, and everything that we have and will show you works with the Thunder laser. So let's get started, and we will run right into measuring. Everybody has to measure stuff. Whether you use imperial or metric, it's completely up to you. We use metric. However, we use metric for the lasers. We use imperial for the CNC. And I also flip back and forth when building our custom woodworking stuff. So, measuring. Specifically measuring here, we utilize metal rules. Not a ruler, but a rule. And the difference is the ruler does not start at the very end. You'll look at the kids' plastic rulers, they always have like an eighth of an inch and then the tick mark starts on 0. A rule starts at the very end. Now ours are double-sided. We have metric on one side and we have imperial on the other. And this one I think measures into the 30 seconds. 30 seconds and then 60/4. And the same, they come in a variety of sizes. These specifically, I think we bought off of Amazon. So they work great for doing most of our measuring when you don't want to deal with a tape measure. Now here we have two different tape measures. Just a quick little cheap 12-foot imperial tape measure from one of the box stores. This one's broken down into eighths that you can visibly read, and we'll go down to 30 seconds of an inch. And then we also have this from Fast Cap True 32, the Pro Carpenter, but it's in metric. Now this one, the boss uses a lot. It's a righty-lefty, so the numbers are on both sides. No matter which way you hold it, you'll be able to read it. If you don't use metric, there is an imperial version where metric is blue. The imperial version is green, and it says righty-lefty on it. Fantastic. We've got these all over all the shops. They make life so much easier, especially when you either have a hard time reading fractions or understanding fractions, and then how to manipulate them. Another reason why we use primarily metric. In addition, we have a framing square that you can pick up. This allows us to a little bit longer of an area to draw, X's on the material to find the center point, because that's our workflow. But what we've done is added adhesive magnets to the back of it so that these can hold to the honeycomb if I need a rather large 90-degree or a large square to frame something in for repeated cuts. Now, that takes care of measuring. Let's talk about some of your other accessories. Let's talk about lenses. It's always asked, well, I'm buying a laser, do I need a 4-inch lens? Do I need an 1.5-inch lens? Do I need a HR lens? Or whatever size lens. The lasers come standard with a 2-inch lens. The 2-inch is a universal lens. It will do almost everything that you need. From cutting, 1/2 inch or down, 1/4 of an inch, easy, 3 mil, 6 mil, whatever it may be. Engraving, you can switch out the nozzles to the wider tip. I think it's a 5 or 6 millimeter tip versus the 2 millimeter tip that's pretty much installed on it. So a 2-inch works for just about everything. Now, if you have to cut thicker material, I do recommend a 4-inch lens. The 4-inch lens that we use is from American Photonics. This is the company that we were used to before we bought the Thunders. So this is what we went back to. I haven't messed with the 4-inch lens from Thunder, but there's no real difference in them. I'm just partial to this one. So if you're going to cut thicker material, then you will definitely need a 4-inch lens. Just because of the distance that the beam stays straight, it's longer. We actually tried to cut 1-inch foam not too long ago using a 2-inch lens and never could get through it. And when we did get through it, the cut was not parallel or was not a 90-degree cut. it was a very wide angle on it because of the way the beam works. Now, moving back to the lenses, this one is a 1.5 inch lens. We use this for detailed engraving. When we need to do very small, intricate work. The secret for my boss's earrings, when she engraves the wood for the earrings and cuts, this is what she uses. We also do very detailed stuff in white oak for barrel lids and things of that nature. So when you talk about getting detail, then the 1.5 inch lens is probably something that you should consider. I think the same thing works with the HR lens. I'm not familiar with that one from Thunder, but from talking to tech support and everything else, the general concept is there. It gives you a smaller spot size so that you can get more detail in your engravings. So now that we've covered lenses, do you absolutely have to have them? No. Do I care who you buy from? Nope. It really doesn't bother me one bit. This is just what we use. Now, when it comes to lenses, the standard head or the standard tube has the metal ring that holds your lens in place. The tool that comes with the Thunder is a metal tool that slides down in there and gets it. We make these lens tools specifically that fit right in. They lock into place, and then I can take them loose and tighten them up using the plastic. And I think this one specifically PETG that we print from. You're not going to scratch the lens. I have a hard time bringing metal anywhere near that lens. That's another reason why we use the American Photonics, is those lenses are glued into place. You never have to worry about over tightening and distorting the lens. Now, if you screw your lens up, you're going to have to spend the $68 or whatever it is to replace the whole damn thing. Minus, I think, the tube extension. So I don't need to remove it. I clean it from both sides. It makes life a little bit easier. So is a lens removal tool for the original head a necessity? You have to be able to remove the damn thing. Do you have to have one of mine that's plastic? No. Does it work well? Absolutely. And we're pretty happy with it. So now let's move into hold downs. Everybody asks, what hold down pens do you use? Where do you get, hold down pens? What website? There's a variety of ways to hold material down. Before we get into the manufactured stuff, let's talk about the easy crap that you can just go to the store and buy. First, round magnets. These can be found at Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's, all the box stores. They're simple. They got a hole in them. We throw some black tape on it just to make life easier pulling it off of the honeycomb. You can also take the 4 magnets that the Thunder comes with, wrap them in tape, and then that way you can pull them back off. They work pretty well for slightly bowed or twisted stuff. Now, when you got a monster piece of plywood that's just being a pain in the butt, we use these 18-inch bar magnets. We keep 2 of them, one for each side, and it'll help between that and the honeycomb pins. It'll help pin the twist and the warps out of it. We also use tent weights, big round tent weights on some of the larger stuff if there's a bow in the middle of it as well. I'll let you use your imagination how we do that. Now to hold downs that we make and we use. We use one that's tapered. It's got a T. If you look closely enough, you'll see they're a little burnt, a little charred. But these are the ones that we've designed. I've got a buddy of mine who's an engineer and does all my designs for me to very specific requirements. And these work with the Thunder honeycombs. We opted for a T design with the sides being flat so that you can put these in and get things level or get things square and repeatability. These work with our corner jigs that I'll show in a few. Like I said, they're tapered. They've got little notches on the side. Ours are a super tight fit. Sometimes you even need a set of pliers to pull them out. But they do very well on the heavily twisted and warped wood. So that's what we use for hold downs. You can make them out of wood. You can buy them off Etsy. I know another guy on Etsy. I think it's 3D Prints by Chris. He does some specifically that look a little bit different. There's the orange ones. There's the blue ones. Ours are the purple ones just because we opted for purple. Not everybody likes purple, but I really don't give a damn. That's what we like. So here we go again. Now, these are the corners I was talking about. Our pins work specifically with them. They're designed to fit in with a little bit of play so that you can get your corners right. We'll show this in a minute over here on the laser, but these drop in, the pins go in to lock them in place, and this allows you for repeatability, or making sure that your material is a 90 degrees that way with the gantry. That way you're, square as you can be. We do two different sizes. We have a small one and a large one. Some of the other accessories that we use are, I'll move these out of the way. So this comes standard with your Thunder. It's an acrylic focus block. It says F equals 6 millimeters, so and this is about 6 millimeter thick. However, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick that up, but ours is a little crooked and a little bowed and twisted, so therefore I don't know if we're getting pinpoint accuracy. So what I did was talk to the genius behind the camera there, who is studying 3D design, and he created us focal blocks. So I have an entire set that he created and printed that range from 2 millimeter thickness to 10.5 and all the way in between. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.5. 10.5 is the focal distance on the American Photonics lenses. 2 is because one of tech support, him and I have been talking about engraving on glass, or in glasses, and the fact that you focus 2 millimeters off the surface. So we did one that's up down to 2 millimeters. 6 is the standard, so we have the 6. And then sometimes you want to focus at 7 or 8 to defocus, and trying to do that on this little thing when you got to slide it up there and hope that you get the head to set where you want it and everything else. We all know what this miserable experience is like. So we just take that out of the equation, and then we slide this in, right in, drop the head down, and I know that I'm at 2 millimeters. Now all ours are anywhere from 0.1 millimeters or lower, dimensionally correct. Every time they come off the printer, I measure them so I know, are they within the tolerance. And the way I see it, if Thunder has a 0.5 variance on their bed, I can get away with a 0.1 variance or less on our focal blocks. We try to do things as precise as we can. That way we've got repeatability, and these are definitely designed for repeatability when you're talking about focus. So far they work fairly well. We haven't had any issues with them per se. The only issues that we have is the printing aspect of it, but once they print and they're acceptable, then there's been no complaints whatsoever. So that's our focus tools that we use. Now, everybody talks about the flashback and what are these little notches on the backside of my plywood or my material. We use standoffs. You can use magnets. You can use, we've got 3 mil plywood that she's cut into rectangles that she'll use for standoffs. We printed and attached these little spikes. This was a noble thought. Shit idea. That was a lot of PTG wasted and a lot of money on these little spikes. They look cool as crap, but they really aren't worth a damn, my opinion, and we made them. So, there's some of the other accessories and things that we use. Now, your biggest one is a rotary tool. Are you planning on doing round things? Cups, tumblers, rolling pins, ink pens, any of that stuff? Then get a rotary tool. Ours that we use specifically is the Pyburn version 3. That's just what we opted for. I'm not saying that Pyburn or Rotoboss, either one of them is better or worse than the other ones. I think they both have their strong points and their failures. So you decide which one you want. That's just the one that we use. Now, we've covered pretty much everything, all the accessories and things on the table that we use. Now we're going to move over to the laser, and we'll show you how they're used and why we use them in that specific way. So stay tuned. Okay, we're over here to our bed. This is the Thunder Nova 51130. Our piece of plywood is fairly flat, but you'll get the idea. We got one bar clamp here, and then I can take a bar clamp over to this side, catch it about halfway on it, just so it pins it down. And I'm not sure if the camera can catch how strong these magnets are. They will flex the honeycomb up. And then once it sits down, it flexes it right back to where it needs to be. So this is one way that you can use these bar magnets. Keep them out of your way for your head. That way you don't suffer a head crash. And then our honeycomb pins, they're specifically designed. And if you look, you can see it flexing, hopefully. And then when I push it down, there's no more flex. Again, they're tight, but we make them specifically that way. And before anybody asks, yes, we can make other pins and design other pins, but if I don't have a honeycomb here to proof my fit, I'm not going to make something and try to sell shit that doesn't fit properly and have everybody in the world pissed off at me. So in reality, we only make the ones for Thunder. We do actually have ones for the Boss 1420, because that's the one we used to own, so we have honeycomb pins for that. So again, when you've got, you need something that's a little bit more, you can drop these in the middle as well. So larger magnets work well. And then for us, when we're done with them, we keep them up high, just so that they're out of the way and we don't knock anything else. So we'll move over to the smaller laser and go over our corners and other jigs and fixtures. Okay, now we've moved over to the Thunder Nova 3580. And as you can see, this is how we would utilize that corner. The corner's in here and it's pinned in place. It really doesn't move that much. Now this jig right here is one that's designed for pencils. Pencils and pens and things like that, so we can engrave. This was a bought file, I think. We did some modifications to it, but you can see that I've got a dot right there. This is how we line up our jigs. So it's designed in the program. I slide it in place. There it is. And then I know I can come over here and I can put the red dot on that dot, and now my jig is lined up in my program. We've also got numbers marked on these. We would take our pencil, stick it in like this. I know that I want a 6mm focus on these pencils, so therefore I can come over here I can drop my focus tool right in. I'll lower my head down to where I want it. And now I'm at 6mm. That's how our focus tool works. Now, of course, I come back to the center, and we're able to run that type of jig, or that type of doing the pencils or pens or whatever in this jig. So again, here's a jig that works well if you do pencils, as long as you set it up correctly. Some people will put the crosshairs with the circle and line that up with, I think, cut and print and things of that nature. It's not our workflow. It's not what we choose to do, because this one's quick and easy for us because we've done it so many times. Now, that's just one other jig. We have jigs for doing 1911 pistol grips. We have jigs for doing just about everything. If I take a moment and so a jig doesn't have to be anything pretty. We do anodized aluminum business cards for tokens for Magic the Gathering, a trading card game. Ours are custom, so we take the image that the individual wants. She's got this jig done, and then as well as in the computer, we do the same thing. We line it up, drop the tokens in place. They have a specific spot that they sit, and then she puts the red dot where she wants it, and we run them. Same thing applies here. Jigs and fixtures don't always have to be wood. So cardboard, we do 1911. Depending on which way she wants to do them, it is what the jig is for. We're able to drop the grips right in there, and she's able to engrave on them. And you'll notice there's a dot right in the center. There's a dot right in the center. That's just our workflow. With this corner, just because they're dropping in jigs and fixtures, is one thing, but when you want to put in material and keep it straight or keep it square, these little things do very well. If I'm, say, doing 100 of these, once I set them in place, and let's pretend that that's my origin. So, of course, we set our origin, it engraves. We pull it out, drop the next one right back in. I don't have to change anything, and we can go. Repeatability. That's why we created these. That's why they designed them. Ours has very specific dimensions on it so that you don't have head crashes. I think we took about 3 hours to figure out if our measurements were going to compromise the head in any way, and so far so good. It works for cutting boards. It works for a little bit of everything. So now we're going to move on to the next round of topics for jigs, fixtures, and accessories, which is standoffs. So now you'll be able to see just how versatile as you watch me pull everything out. Our cheap little 3mm standoffs work rather well when all we got to do is set them down on the corners, drop whatever we want on top of it, and now we don't have to worry about flashback because we're going to be able to watch it fall to 3mm. The only issue with standoffs like this is if you're doing really thin stuff, you may get you may have to dial your air in to keep it from blowing all over the place. We've all done that. We've all had that crap happen to us. So just kind of watch that. Now, before we walk away from the laser, one of the other accessories that we opted for is the digital air monitor. We use this so that we can have repeatability in cuts and engraves. It's not really designed to look at it as this is how much PSI. It's to be able to say, okay, it's registering 7, and I like the way that looks. So now I can come in and adjust high or low or whatever it may be to repeat that 7 PSI You may not like 7 and you have to adjust it. It gives you something to experiment with. That's why we opted for this. It's a little pricey. It's not that hard to install. I've got another video on the installation of them. We've had these in for a week or two now. It could be longer. I lose track of time. But these things have been fantastic. If you're looking for a higher quality accessory to give you repeatability on engraves, this is the way to go. Like I said in my other video, and if you're just seeing this one for the first time, yours may not be purple. Chris allowed us to print our own, and that's the color that the boss wanted, was purple. You have to talk to him about the colors and if he's even willing to. I think they come in a standard gray or black or something like that. But these have been fantastic. If that's what you're looking to upgrade, and I'm not off the top of my head sure of what the actual price is. I know he's got a new product out that actually gets wired in, and I think if I understand it correctly, if you don't have any air pressure, it kills the machine to keep you from frying your lens. So if you are forgetful to turn your air on, then you might want to consider this. Now here's the next couple accessories to me that's a must-have, but I've got a background in the fire service, so an extinguisher. We have a small little ABC extinguisher. It's not the greatest thing in the world for the electronics. If you're looking to save your electronics, if you have a fire in your laser, then a CO2 extinguisher is probably the way to go. It won't damage the electronics. It dissipates and removes the air from around the fire, causing the fire to go out. Keeping one of these handy is a great thing. Make sure it's readily accessible. I don't recommend sticking it on your laser, because if your laser's engulfed, you're not going to want to walk up to the laser and try to fight through flames to get your damn extinguisher. So put it somewhere that's within reach, that you can get to it no matter what. Now, granted, we've got our shit surrounded by trash cans, but it works for us until I can find a better place for the trash cans or for it. Now, on a different note, keep one of these handy. It doesn't take much of this powder to actually put out fires. However, my recommendation is a spray bottle of water. It's not hard to pause, lift your lid, squirt, 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 drop your lid, and go to town with a laser. It's not that hard. Now, for some of y'all that want to put up cameras and be in a different room, well, if your shit burns to the ground, that's your own damn fault, because you really shouldn't be leaving your laser running while you're not there. That's just my opinion, and we all know what opinions are like. So we keep this right by the laser, in between both lasers, so we can get to it quick and easy. Works fantastic. The only other thing you can do is literally pause, lift your lid, grab what's smoldering out of there, and throw it out the door. Did that last year in the snow. A piece of exotic wood decided to catch fire because we were going a little too slow cutting it, and just reached in and grabbed it. Because we were standing right here and could see it before it got too bad. We're a little overprotective of our stuff. You know, if my opinion hurts feelings, then so be it. But these are definitely a must. The whole concept of the fire blanket, yeah, fantastic idea, but you got to get up close and personal with it. And from 28 years of running into burning buildings, I don't recommend you trying that stuff. So you put this right here on a straight stream, and then you can squirt. You get some distance out of it too. Readjusting your TL timer to reduce your air once the machine has stopped may also benefit. Moving the head away, because what's going to fuel the flames is the air coming out. If you're not familiar with how fire works, look up the fire tetrahedron or the fire triangle. Great to learn about. So these are two that I definitely recommend. Accessories. We also have another accessory, are the safety glasses that are laser rated. We don't ever wear them. Don't stare at your damn laser. You won't need to wear them. That's just my opinion. Now, if you want to get all up and personal and keep your door open and remove all the safety features that are in place, then by all means get you a pair of goggles so that you're not, you know, going to go blind and do what you got to do. But that's your own risk. Okay, now that we've gotten me off my soapbox, my apologies for that. There's just, I don't deal well with things that I deem as just stupid. Hence if you hadn't figured out why, you know, the angry craftsman. But you'll figure it out eventually. I'm about as blunt can be, and if people don't like it, they don't like it. Give me a thumbs down. I really don't give a damn. There's always trolls that love to, that think they are doing wonderful things by giving thumbs ups and thumbs downs. I really don't give a shit. It's just me personally. So again, I hope that covering some of the jigs and fixtures that we use and how we use them has helped. If it hasn't helped, my apologies. Find somebody else's video that may help you any better. Again, doesn't matter what you use, doesn't matter who you buy them from, as long as you do the right or find the right jigs, fixtures, and accessories that work for you. This is what works for us, whether we've designed it or bought it. There's probably 100 different ways to do the same thing. So if somebody's got a better idea, then roll on with it. If you like my ideas, then use my ideas. I don't care. I will put an email into the link if you're interested in some of the stuff that we do, where you can order it from. I suck at websites, so our website's not really up and running as well as it should be. So just email us if you got questions about some of the products that we use. You're also welcome to send emails to that same email address if you've got other questions. Post a comment. I do my best to answer the comments as quickly as I can. I just actually got off an email conversation with another person asking specific questions about certain things. So I'll tell y'all exactly what I told him was, if you'd like, email me, put all your questions in one email, and I will sit and do a video and answer the questions. We're also almost finished prepping for the ability to do classes here on site. We do demos for Thunder Laser. You can just contact them. And if you're in the area of Kentucky that we're in, we're more than happy to show you around. If you are interested in getting out of the house and traveling and taking some classes, whether it's on workflow or how to use the lasers and some of the other stuff that we do, send us an email. We'll try to get you hooked up for pricing and everything else. If there's content that you want to see done, I will do my best to get it done. And I think the next step for us is probably starting a Patreon. Not that I give a damn, but it has the ability for us to recoup some of the money that goes into making some of these. I listen to YouTube content creators all the time, support my Patreon, do this, and never realize how much time and energy and money it takes to do this stuff. So that may be coming up soon. But again, if you got something that you're interested in learning and we have the abilities, just send us a message or post a message or comment, email us, whatever it works. Other than that, I hope you learned something and have a great day.